Number 11. Randolph Scott. Randolph was the ultimate rugged cowboy actor, charming audiences with his strong and stoic performances in classic westerns. His talent and good looks earned him star status, but many believe his most fascinating story never made it onto the silver screen. Rumors swirled about a deep connection between Scott and Cary Grant, another Hollywood legend. The two shared a home for over a decade, which led to endless speculation about their relationship. In pictures, they were often seen laughing, lounging by the pool, or simply enjoying each other's company. While the chemistry between them seemed undeniable, both fervently denied any romantic involvement. The secrecy was no surprise. This was Hollywood in the Golden Age, a time when same-sex relationships were strictly forbidden. If the rumors were true, Scott and Grant had little choice but to keep their love hidden. Studio executives were quick to protect their star players, but not out of compassion. The industry saw relationships like theirs as dangerous, demanding public denial to preserve box office appeal. Even today, this fascinating story remains shrouded in mystery. Number 12. John Derek. John had the looks that made him a Hollywood heartthrob, but it was his rumored relationship with Spencer Tracy that added complexity to his story. Tracy, a beloved Hollywood heavyweight, was widely respected for his acting, not for anything involving his personal life. That's exactly how the system preferred it. Scotty Bowers, a Hollywood insider who later wrote a tell-all book, claimed that Derek and Tracy's connection was far more intimate than the studios let on. This relationship wasn't just controversial, it flew in the face of what Hollywood wanted its leading men to represent. For Derek, fame came with restrictions. Male actors linked to suspected same-sex romances faced threats to their livelihoods. To the public, Derek appeared confident and charming, but behind the scenes, he navigated a secret life under immense pressure. It wasn't just about protecting his own image. Hollywood culture demanded that no trace of scandal ever touch its cherished stars. Derek's story perfectly reflects the difficulties actors faced, forced to live two lives in an industry that valued perfection over truth. Number 13. William Haynes. William wasn't just a star of silent films. He was also one of the first actors in Hollywood to openly embrace his identity, even when it cost him dearly. Haynes had the talent and charisma to make it big, and for a while he was one of the brightest names in the industry. But there was one thing he refused to do: hide his love for Jimmy Shields, his lifelong partner. Studio executives pressured him to enter into a fake heterosexual marriage to preserve his career. But Haynes stood firm. He couldn't sacrifice love for fame, even if it meant walking away from Hollywood. Though his acting career ended abruptly, Haynes didn't fade into obscurity. He reinvented himself as a highly successful interior designer, earning respect in an entirely new field and living openly with Shields. His story is more than one of courage. It's a testament to staying true to oneself, even when the world demands otherwise. In a time when so many others had no choice but to hide, Haynes became a trailblazer of authenticity, quietly shaping Hollywood's underlying narrative of resilience and defiance. Number 14. Marlon Brando. Marlon wasn't just one of Hollywood's Golden Age stars. He was an icon, admired for his strength and raw talent in films like A Streetcar Named Desire. But for all his fame, Brando's personal life was filled with whispered rumors and shocking possibilities. Biographies and insider accounts suggest that Brando may have shared romantic connections with male stars like Cary Grant and Montgomery Clift. His charisma wasn't just captivating on screen, it drew people into his orbit, even if those relationships didn't fit the norms of the period. Though Brando rarely confirmed these tales, his openness about sexuality in general fueled speculation. Even in interviews, he hinted at living without labels and ignoring societal restrictions. However, the Hollywood system, built on strict ideals, wasn't ready to embrace the complexity Brando represented. Instead, the industry kept these rumors at bay, prioritizing his image as a powerful, masculine leading man. For Brando, his fame was a double-edged sword. He could captivate millions, but behind the cameras, pieces of his truth remained carefully hidden. Number 15. Farley Granger. Farley may not have reached the towering fame of some of his peers, but he made his mark as a talented actor in classic films like Strangers on a Train. While his professional life brought applause, it was his personal life that drew curiosity. Granger became one of the few Golden Age stars to openly acknowledge relationships with both men and women later in life. Among his most notable connections was playwright Arthur Laurents, with whom he shared a significant bond. Revealing this later in life showed a level of bravery uncommon for stars of his era. But during Hollywood's heyday, Granger faced the same pressures that came with being a well-known actor. For years, he kept his relationships private, avoiding unwanted attention, and taking care to maintain the public image expected of him. His decision to break his silence years later gave glimpses into his struggles and triumphs, making him a symbol of quiet courage. Even though Granger operated under the restrictions of his time, his later self-reflection paved the way for LGBTQ+ representation in Hollywood to grow stronger. Number 16. Ramon Novaro. Ramon's rise to stardom in the silent film era showcased his undeniable talent and striking appearance. Dubbed the Latin Lover by Hollywood studios, Novaro captivated audiences with his performances in films like Ben-Hur and became one of the industry's most sought-after leading men. But while millions admired his charm, few knew of the secret relationships he carried behind the scenes. Ramon Novaro was rumored to have romantic connections with men, a truth he was forced to hide from the unforgiving eye of the public and the ever-watchful studio executives. Hollywood in its early days was ruthless about keeping their stars' reputations squeaky clean. For Novaro, the consequences of defying those expectations were brutal. Despite his success, whispers about his personal life followed him, and the secrecy took its toll. Decades later, his tragic death in 1968 brought heartbreak to his fans and uncovered the immense pain of living under constant judgment. Novaro's story reminds us that fame often comes at the cost of personal happiness, especially when living in a world that demands secrecy. Number 17. Laurence Olivier. Laurence, widely regarded as one of the greatest actors of the 20th century, wasn't just a legend of British theater. His work in Hollywood cemented his place among the Golden Age greats. Known for films like Wuthering Heights and Rebecca, Olivier exuded sophistication, talent, and charisma. But behind his polished image lies a story often whispered about in Hollywood circles. Olivier was rumored to be bisexual, reportedly engaged in discreet relationships that never made it into the headlines of his illustrious career. Despite his towering presence as an actor, Olivier's closeted identity created a layer of complexity in his life. His connection to Hollywood was built on performances that demanded raw emotion, yet he had to shield parts of himself from the spotlight, hiding personal truths from a society that wasn't ready to accept them. Speculation about his relationships continues today, painting a picture of a man who balanced incredible achievements with the constant fear of being discovered. In many ways, Olivier's life shows how even the most powerful stars weren't immune to the crushing weight of conformity. Number 18. Charles Lton. Charles was a cinematic genius, delivering incredible performances in films like Mutiny on the Bounty and The Hunchback of Notre Dame. His ability to inhabit complex characters made him a standout talent during Hollywood's golden age. Yet, behind the scenes, Lton reportedly lived a closeted life, hiding his sexuality from the public and industry alike. It's said that despite his marriage to actress Elsa Lanchester, Lton had long-term relationships with men, which were kept under wraps to protect his career. The pressures of living in secrecy deeply affected Lton, whose private struggles were mirrored in the intense vulnerability he brought to his characters on screen. Hollywood's strict moral compass forced him to walk a delicate line between fame and his truths. Lawton's story speaks volumes about the sacrifices stars had to make during an era that demanded perfection, hiding their personal lives just to survive in a merciless industry. Number 19. Rody McDow. Rody, beloved for his roles in films like Lassie Come Home and How Green Was My Valley, carried an aura of charm and talent unmatched by many of his peers. But McDowell wasn't just an icon of Golden Age cinema. He was a man whose rumored relationships offered insight into the hidden realities of Hollywood. Although he was discreet about his personal life, whispers of his connections with other men persisted, shining a light on the unseen side of his fame. McDowell handled Hollywood's demands with grace, becoming known for his kindness and professionalism. Yet the hidden aspects of his identity bring to mind the weight many stars carried during the Golden Era, mastering their craft while suppressing their truth. McDowell's performances on screen beautifully captured the human experience, but his personal story reminds us of the quiet resilience required to navigate Hollywood's double standards. Number 20. Victor Buono. Victor was known for his larger-than-life personality and unforgettable appearances in films like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Despite his comedic charm and formidable acting skills, Buono's rumored same-sex relationships painted the picture of an individual quietly resisting societal norms. Hollywood of his time wasn't forgiving, especially to stars whose personal lives deviated from the idealized heterosexual image studios demanded. Buono was active during the later phase of Hollywood's golden age, a time that grew slightly more aware but still far from accepting. Even as he thrived in acting, his discretion maintained his career, ensuring tabloids and public opinion wouldn't destroy his reputation. Today, Buono's name is remembered for its brilliance on screen, but his personal life tells a deeper story of an actor who balanced fame against secrecy in a world that demanded perfection over authenticity. The untold love stories of these icons reveal another side of Hollywood's golden age, a side where actors had to choose between love and their careers, between their truth and public expectations. Their courage and resilience shine even brighter than their on-screen performances, leaving us with whispers of romance and heartache that defied societal norms. But the story doesn't end here. Click on the next video as we dive into shocking scandals involving the biggest stars of Tinseltown. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. See you there.